So today let's look into creating our own images. Till now we were using some images, right? Like we were using some Ubuntu image, some like Nginx image, right? Jenkins image, all of this from official Docker Hub. What if you want to create your own image? Firstly, why do you need your own image? Why do you need your own image?
Create our own containers.
Like custom configurations, right? Let's say you may need some custom configurations, your own custom configurations you need, or else let's say you may have to deploy your enterprise application, right? You have to spin up your own application, you have to pack your application along with the dependencies, right? Pack your code. So all of that is possible when you create your own image, right? So how do you create your own images? They can be created in multiple ways. One way is to create it from a running container. Means, yes, you can create an image from a running container as well. And the second method is the standard method, the best method, which is from Dockerfile. We have learned in the initial Docker classes. From Dockerfile, you get an image. From image, you get a container. Right? This is the what we have learned. Correct? So from a Docker file, you can create an image and which will create a content. This is the standard or the best method. But before going into this, let us also see creating a container from creating an image from a running container. Like what it is, like how it works, let's see. Suppose you are using some official Ubuntu image. Okay, you have pulled this image, started container C1. This will have just Ubuntu OS, that right? Just fresh Ubuntu OS. That's all. You will not have any other packages and all. Let's say your project needs Java. Okay, you have installed Java there. Your project needs some database. You have even installed that. And some editors, all of that you have installed and it's doing good. Let's suppose tomorrow I need another new container. Again, I should start from Ubuntu. Above that, I have to install Java, SQL, and so on. Each time I have to do this. Correct? So instead of doing these things each time, why don't we save the state of this container into an image? Save the state of the container into an image, into a new image, right? So what is the advantage of this? Instead of running this Ubuntu image each time, you will start this new image. You will run this new image. Okay, this new image you will run, and this will be like this is your. You will spin up a container from this new image, and this new image will have Java, SQL, everything. You don't need to reinstall them again. Right? Got the point, everyone? So this is the point of creating an image from a running container. Okay, you may just configure your container as per your requirement and then save that container into an image. Next time onwards, start this image rather than starting the official one. Right? This is the basic point. Understood the logic, everyone? How to save that container into an image, we'll see with hands-on. This is clear, right?
Yeah, Preeti.
Let's implement this. Docker images. Oh, sorry. I did not connect to the instance. This is the EC2. The same EC2 instance we were using every day. Start Docker. So Docker will be started. Docker images. Okay. You can see here Docker images, some of them which we have used yesterday. So now the point is, okay, before that, let me do a cleanup. Docker system drone all. cleaned up all. Okay. Now let's start a container. Docker run -it Ubuntu. And I would also like to give the name as C1. Okay, I'm getting into the attached mode. The reason for attached mode is so that I may configure whatever packages, whatever configurations I need. So because Ubuntu was not there, it was pulling the image. Okay, I got the shell if you see. So you may do ls, you may install any packages like how you want, if you want PHP, Java, or whatever SQL database. Our interest is not to learn those installations. You can Google those steps and run it like you run on any virtual machine. Okay, this is now Ubuntu machine. So you can run like you do on any machine. Any change will do for our testing. I would like to just go with a simple package. It's apt-get is a package manager, and we don't have Vim by default on Ubuntu. Vim is a simple editor. So you don't have it by default. Let us install this. First, update the package manager. It will update the apt-get package manager with all the latest packages. Now, apt-get install Vim. Okay. So Vim is installed. Now, if you see, yes, you have got Vim. Okay, done. Now I'm just coming out of it. You have to come out of it by keeping the the container running. How to keep the container running and come out?
Control P, Control Q.
Control Q.
Control P, Control Q. So Control P, Control Q. So I'm out of the container, and you can see it's running. See when it's container is running. Now I want to save this container into an image. That's where commit command comes in. Docker commit container name or ID. I'm using name C1 and the name you want to give to your image, my image, colon Vim, so that I can understand, okay, this image is having Vim package. Or else I would like to say my Ubuntu, so that I will know, okay, it's Ubuntu with Vim. Typo in the Docker. Right, it says the image is created and you can see, yes, this is the one, right? Shall we test it? How do you test it? Run it with attached mode. Okay, you should see it as Ubuntu and it should have Vim in it. See, Vim is there. If you have installed Java or whatever, you may see them. Got the point, everyone? Is this much clear for all of you?
So the apt-get update, it will update the package manager or it will update operating system?
It will update the package manager
Okay.
with the latest packages it can install.
And this to create this image, right? It should be the running instance. It's not in the existing mode.
Right. Any more? So now we have got the image created. This is one method, right? From a running container, you can save, you can commit that container and create. This is one method of doing the things. And the other way is like from a standard method from a Docker file, right? Let us do the same configurations from a Docker file. I'm coming out of this and I would like to have Docker images, Docker PS, okay. Few of them are there, that's okay. Now let's do the same from a Docker file. What is a Docker file, by the way? See, Docker file is nothing but a simple text file which will have Docker instructions. Which kind of instructions? What instructions it will have? Let's see. And Docker file, the best practice is you should place it in a separate directory. So first I'm creating a directory called my Docker. That's always the best practice. So here create a file called Docker file. Docker file need not have any extensions. Okay. Now write the Docker instructions. What could be the Docker instruction you want to write here? First command starts with a from. From means you can develop your image above some other official image. Like see, we have taken Ubuntu, above that we have installed Vim. Same is the case. You take some official image like Ubuntu. Above that, you can make your configurations. So first command is from, which will pull the image from hub if it is not there locally. And then from, then comes maintainer or author, which is optional. Okay. And then comes a run command. Means whatever instructions you want to run during the build or during the creation will be placed in the run command, right? Let's say what do we need? We want to update the package manager, which is apt-get update, right? So run apt-get update, right? And then we want to install it again, run apt-get install Vim, right? With the -y so that it will not wait for the prompt. It's not an interactive mode, so give the confirmation here. That's all. Okay, run commands executes during the build. And let's suppose you remember hello world image, right? It used to display some welcome message. Similarly, if you also want to display some welcome message, let's say means your container also want to display some welcome message, right? You can do that. Okay, you can do that using CMD command. Means if you want some commands to be executed during the launch of your container, that goes into CMD. Okay, CMD. And let's say I want to, it also display something, bin echo. Okay, bin echo. And I want it to display some message like hello from my container. Right? That's all. These are the simple Docker instructions. There are many other Docker instructions. We will going through them. We will go through them as we progress. But yeah, remember one thing here, run commands executes during the build, during the creation of the image. CMD command will be executed during the launch of the container from that particular image. Okay. And whenever you build this Docker file, what happens, at the backend, for every Docker instruction you have, okay, there will be a file system layer created. Let's say there are 5 Docker instructions, okay, 5 file system layers. So all these file system layers stacked up one above the other, which makes the image. Let's suppose this is your Docker file. And let's say it's having some Docker instructions. Okay, some Docker instructions. When you build it, what happens? It will create those file system layers corresponding to every instruction you have. All those file system layers will be piled up, which is nothing but your Docker image. This is your Docker image. In the beginning, I told you, right, image is like a template. It will have file system layers. You might have noticed also, whenever you are pulling, pushing, it shows like file system, some layer pulled up and all. When you build every instruction, corresponding to every instruction, there will be a file system layer created and added one above the other, which makes your Docker image. This is your image, right? This is your Docker image. And when you run this, you get a container.
Name of the image, Preeti?
Name of the image is what you give, right? We'll
Where?
build it. When you build, you give the name.
Okay, okay.
So this is your image. This is what happens at the backend. Earlier method also the same thing is happening. Like when you did commit also same thing is happening. But this is where you can visualize the things better. Means in this method, when you create Docker file and when you build it, you see clearly what's happening at the backend. Earlier also same thing happened when you did Docker commit. Am I making sense, everyone? I want everyone to unmute and speak out. I don't want to have a one-way sessions. Me just speaking, you keeping silent. You have to speak out. Yes or no or
Yeah.
difficulty there. Did not follow
Understood.
any
Yeah,
answer.
So each command in the Docker file
Hmm.
is a layer, right?
Correct. It will create a file system layer. Okay, these layers will be managed by Docker daemon, not the file system of your server. File system layers managed by Docker daemon. And also that's why image is read only. You can't edit this image. This read only. You cannot edit this image. Let's say I need some new configurations. You edit the Docker file, spin up a new image. This new image will have your new configurations. Right?
From the image, can we see these layers like using inspect
We can.
Docker? Okay. Okay. Okay.
So let us build it and see. Any questions, or if you are not following also, you can speak out where you lost, which part you are not following. Otherwise, I should assume everyone is following.
Ma'am, from the last 2 days, due to bad weather in Maharashtra, I was due to electricity issues, I was not able to, complete it. But what I understood, we are trying to create a Ubuntu image from the Ubuntu machine. Is it?
We are going to create our own image by using Ubuntu as a base image. Ubuntu as
Okay.
base image because see, already Ubuntu is there. We want to have some configuration above Ubuntu. So you can take that as a base image. Above that, we are customizing it. But the base
Oh,
image is again the official Docker image.
okay. So from the existing Docker image, we are trying to add something more into it and try to create one more image.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the before how you had done that commit, same the thing you had done from inside the Docker file, right?
Yes.
And this is the normal, okay, it's image. Then we can push this image to the repository by giving the name, username,
Images should be pushed to Docker Hub.
okay. Only to, we can push only to the Docker hub.
Docker Hub, ECR, registries.
Okay. Okay.
Images will not be pushed to version control systems like Git or GitHub. Okay, it will be stored on registries. Registry is a service to store images. It could be ECR, it could be Docker Hub, GCR. Yesterday we discussed.
Yes, yes, that what I'm asking that just by adding the username and the
Yeah,
sorry.
you have to tag it and
Yeah.
push it.
Okay.
Now let me build this. Docker build -t means tag. You may give your own name, my image colon. This time I want to know this is coming from Docker file. So tag is Docker file and you have to put the context, like where is your Docker file? Generally, we run this command from the location of Docker file. So dot indicates the current location, okay, where your Docker file is present. So now it will create an image by this name. Okay, now when you push it, it don't have username, where will it go? Right? Later on, you can tag it or else give proper name here itself. Am I making sense? If you want to push a particular repo, you give proper name here itself. Or else if you give some dummy name here, later on you tag it accordingly where you want to push. Understood?
Yes, Preeti.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done hands-on on tag, Docker tag?
Yes, Preeti.
Have you also gone through the quiz available on the portal?
No.
Why? Any reasons? In the beginning, I used to remind every day, but as we go by, we have to concentrate on the topic. I can't remind every day. But any reason? Are you not interested in those quiz, or do you feel like they are not worthy or boring? Any reason?
Ma'am, as I said, day before yesterday, and yesterday I was not able to do that, but rest I'm doing.
All right. Well, how about others? See, the reason I'm asking that is there on the website, on the quiz portal, you can verify the commands were there. It will ask you for right or wrong. You can choose the right command so that the way when we ask the question, when you think about the answer, those get registered in your mind. Now I want answer from you. What is a tag command? How do you use tag syntax?
To duplicate the image which we with
To
our
copy the image.
with our own repository name and tag name, then we can push into the with the
Tag will create a copy of the same image with the proper name, right? If you want, right? So that you can push to your repository. So that's what I'm saying here. If you give some dummy name, later on you give a proper name with the tag command and then push it. Okay. Please go through the thorough practice. Okay. Just listening and having an overview will not be enough. Please do the hands-on. Otherwise, as we progress, sessions would be just monologue kind of. I will be speaking, you will be just keeping quiet. If you want to have the sessions fruitful, please do the hands-on. I want perfect answers when I have a question, when I put a question. You can do it when you take a quiz, when you do the hands-on n number of times. Out of your busy schedules, please take some time, put some time for these things. See, it was building it now. There were 5 layers. Means, see, it was showing step 1 by 5 because 5 instructions I have. This is one file system layer. Okay, it has moved on. See, 4 by 5 file system layers created for every command. Finally, it says images created. Let's see. Docker images. See, it's created this way. This is the one. If I push, it doesn't have username. It doesn't go anywhere. So you tag it with a proper naming convention and then push it. Otherwise, you don't want to tag it, give proper name there itself. Okay, now if you want to see those layers for any image, Docker inspect, any image you can do this. Docker file. Oh, sorry, inspect will show you the history actually, not inspect. Okay, see all the file system layers. Do you see that? Now
Yeah.
see. Also, we took base image, right? Base image size is 77.8 MB. Do you see this? Above that, the layers were added because of the instructions I wrote. Base image was taken. Above that, these layers that made the size of your image 183 MB. And the image we created the other way is also same size. Means whether you use Docker commit or Docker file, the size of the image doesn't change. What is present inside the image makes the difference. So both are of 183 because both have the Vim package.
So
Clear?
is there any limitation on the image size?
We will talk about it. Okay, we have a separate subject on sizes. Yes, always the best practice is image size should be smaller. How can you make it small? What are the best practices? We will discuss.
Okay. And my second question is like this, we are creating the Docker file, right? The standard name with Docker file. So if we have multiple Docker files, in that case,
Generally, the best practice is, let's say you have one project. Okay, it will like the address book. It will have one Docker file. It should be placed in that code. I mean, in that directory where you have that code. Okay, if you have some other project, you have some other code, right? There you will have it. Means every Docker file will have its own context, its own folder, its own directory. Okay, that's how we do. Isn't it? Every project will have one Docker file. You don't put all the projects in the same directory. And
okay,
also when, yeah.
So like we cannot create like Docker file 1, Docker file 2. that is not appropriate?
Like you have a Docker file for each directory, okay, and that's called build context, because whenever it is building, it will take the code, it will take some other files also present in that directory. So that's called build context. We'll have one Docker file per project, and that's called build context. Now, maybe in any case, if you want to have multiple Docker files, you can give some other name to Docker file also. That is also possible. That we never do that. In anywhere in your projects in real time, you will see the file as Docker file. One folder will have only one Docker file. But still, if you want to test it out, or if you want to do it for your lab purpose, you can do here. You will provide -f the Docker file name, including the path. Suppose it is somewhere else. You provide Docker file 1, 2 names, and so on.
Okay.
But we never do that. Possible.
Puriti, you are expecting the my image should be the image name, right? Tag name.
My image should be
Tag name, right? You are expecting with that.
no colon after colon, whatever will be, that is the tag name.
Okay.
My image will be repository name. If you have that repo, when you push, it will go there. If you don't have that repo, it will create and it will go there.
Okay.
But it should be prefixed with username also, so you have to tag it anyway.
Okay, Puriti.
You recollect the naming convention. Naming conventions of your, these things you should have in your mind always at the back end. This is the photo you should have. Okay, like username, repository name, tag name. Okay, of course, that should be prefixed with the, okay, let me rewrite here. Registry name, username, repo name, tag name. You don't put registry, fine, it go to hub. You don't put username, it will not work. So you have to tag it again. Let me do one thing here. Oh, you understood the size, right? How your image size is made up, how your image, what is present inside your image. Let me test this out. Before testing this, let me push it. Will it work? Where will it go? Yes. Where will it go? Will it this work or not?
It will go to Docker Hub.
It will go to Docker Hub. Will it go? Is it following the naming convention?
No, it will.
No.
See, check your compare. That's what you should have this picture in your mind. Registry, repository,
Username is missing, right?
username is not there, right? It will not go to the hub. Just a second.
DevOps trainer should be added for you.
So, see, this is the username DevOps trainer. And also, do I have a tag? Do I have a repository by this name? Yeah, I do have my email.
No.
Yes, you have by my image.
See, I have, right?
Yes, yes.
So, here, do I have something like Docker file? I have so many. Let me do one thing. Okay. Do I have the my image now? Now, I will push it. Obviously, it will not go. You have to tag it. Docker tag. What is the image you have? Old image means existing image or whatever image you have. Oh, okay, you have to tag it with whichever account you want, with whether it is ECR or whatever. Yesterday, I have shown you tagging that also. So I would like to have the same. I don't have this repository. Will this work? If repository is not there, it will create the repository and it will push. So that will not be a problem. If repository is there, fine, it will push into it. If it's not there, it will create. Okay. Now it is working. Authentication we did yesterday only once. If you do Docker login, that is fine. And they'll be stored, I told you, right? Docker config.json file. So credentials are already stored, so it can be pushed. And let's see. It says it was pushed. Okay, let's refresh this. Yeah, see, this came up last pushed a few seconds. Do you see that repository is created? And yes, created few seconds ago. If you keep the cursor time also 8 a.m. Yeah. If you don't want to do this kind of tagging and all, what you can do? You give proper name whenever you are building. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever you are running Docker build, give the proper name. Otherwise, later tag it and push it. Okay, now let us test this out. We have to test this new image, right? Docker run -it. So what is the expected output? What are you expecting when I run this? With this command, what it should do?
Create container.
And it should take you to the shell of the container, correct? Because I'm using -it.
Yes.
Yeah, dash. Let's see. See why it is not giving the shell, it's giving me this. Yeah. See, CMD command we wrote, do you remember? By default, for Ubuntu, if you take Ubuntu, yeah, Ubuntu will have bin bash as the CMD. Okay. That bin bash is overwritten by the CMD you wrote, which is bin echo, and hence you are not getting the shell. That's the thing here. So if you want to make sure you get the shell, you add bin bash here. Then yes, you get the shell. Same is the case. Certain images may not, certain containers will not allow you to get the shell. You have to write bin bash on the command line. This bin bash will override the bin echo and you can get the shell. Okay. And yeah, it should have Vim, correct? See, Vim package is there. Similarly, Java or whatever. Is that clear? Understood, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any image, okay, whether it is official image or your own image, any image, whatever official images we were using, all of that were also developed from some Docker file only. Okay. You can see those Docker files here. Let's search for Ubuntu. Okay, Ubuntu, go out here. And those Docker files will be available here as a reference. See Docker file links, or else let's say Nginx or whatever. Every image is developed by the same method only. Okay, see, so many Docker filing. Generally, Docker files will be stored on the GitHub because it's a text file, right? See, again, they have taken some base image Debian system. Above that, they have installed Ubuntu. Like we have taken Ubuntu, above that we have done, right? And see, CMD. CMD command will execute during the launch. During the launch, Nginx service should be running, right? This is the command which will start Nginx. Right? Yeah. Let me try to show you Ubuntu also. Tags are not available here, but yeah, tags. See, you can see all the tags. Tags are different versions. When you see, if you want to edit an image, that's not possible, right? You edit the Docker file, build a new image with a new tag. So these are all the different tags. What each tag is having, if you go there, it will show you all the details, what is present in it and all. See, do you see that? See, Ubuntu is having cmd bin bash. Yeah. Correct? Means whenever you run Ubuntu, you will get the shell. Follow this carefully. Yeah, whenever you run Ubuntu, you get the shell because Ubuntu is having one cmd command called bin bash. After this, I have added few instructions, right? Like apt-get update, apt-get update, then apt-get install. Then I wrote another cmd bin bash. All the file system layers will be added. This is how it's working, correct? Above bin bash, these layers will be added. So when you have multiple CMDs, the last CMD command will override the previous one. That's why your bin echo is overriding bin bash and you are not getting the shell. Got it?
Yeah.
If you have multiple CMDs, I'm repeating, the last CMD will override the earlier ones. Actually, we took Ubuntu means all those commands, all those file system layers were added, right? See, this is your Ubuntu. Already it's having some file system layers. Above that, you have added few more file system layers. Correct? This is your own file system layers, which is apt-get update, apt-get install, CMD. Here already some CMD is there. Here your CMD. The last one will override the earlier one. So bin bash is overwritten. That's why you are not getting the shell because bin echo is overriding. That's why it was displaying that welcome message like hello world image is doing. But to make sure you get the shell, you write this on the command line. Got the concept? Ubuntu is having cmd bin bash means it will give you the shell, but we are writing that, overwriting that with bin echo. It's not that you should overwrite it. Just an example I did so that you will understand these things.
But we are mentioning at the runtime command, but how it is replacing, ma'am, bin echo with bin
What is
bash?
runtime command?
Like at the outside, you are executing this, but inside CMD command is there, right? So how it is replacing bin bash?
Whatever you pass from the command line will have preference over the one you have in the Docker file. So already Docker file, when you see multiple CMDs, last CMD that has got preference is bin bash. Sorry, bin echo. Now the one you pass from the command line will have priority over those. So bin echo is overwritten by bin bash.
Okay.
Let us create one more simple Docker file today.
What I've understood from this, ma'am, shall I just repeat? So, you mean to say probably this CMD commands, whatever already existing in the Docker file, will run, but it will
Not
be
in
overridden.
the Docker file. Okay, your Docker file is having lost the pointer connection. See, our Docker file is having first instruction from Ubuntu, right?
Correct.
When you see the history, you can see that they were all getting piled up.
Base image is Ubuntu, so it will have some commands inside it. Correct. Docker file.
It has got the file system layers inside it. Above Ubuntu, you are having this one, right?
Styling mistake, I think.
This is Ubuntu. Okay, this is having already the file system layer. It is having CMD command. Above that, you wrote one more CMD. This
Yes.
CMD bin echo is overriding this bin bash. See this one, it is showing here also. Two CMDs. Do you see two CMDs?
Yes.
This is coming from Ubuntu official image because we were using that base. Base image means above that you will add new layers. Already base
Correct.
image is having certain layer. This is the layer. Above that you have bin echo. This CMD will override this CMD. That's why you are getting bin echo displayed.
But these all commands will run one by one. If I run my the newly created Docker repo, correct?
Yeah. They'll not run one by one. Those file system layers are created. Okay, they were piled up. The CMD, latest CMD will overwrite all the previous ones.
Okay. So whatever the commands which you have written, that those will get executed if I run that Docker file. Is it, or
I did
maybe
not
I'm
get
wrong?
your question. Can you repeat, please?
Ma'am, if I run that Docker file which you have
Mm.
created,
Mm.
so
Run
all
means you
the
mean build it,
yes,
right?
build it. Yes,
Uh,
build.
mm, mm.
So all the commands which are inside that Docker file from the base of the Ubuntu image will run one by one. And there you are saying
They
that
will not, the terminology is not correct. They will be building a file system layer. Okay, they will not run one by one. They'll be creating file system layers. Okay,
Mhm.
each instruction will create a file system layer. File system layer will have the information. All of them will be piled up, which is your image.
Okay.
Like for your general understanding, correct. All of those are running and all. But generally, this is the terminology. They were creating a layers. Those layers will be added like this. See how they were added also, you were seeing here.
Yes.
Here you can see, right?
So just giving one more example, let's say I have a .NET application, and for .NET application to uh, for .NET application website I have .NET for that .NET website to host on some machine. I need some IIS. I need some operating system. I will then I will require maybe in order to run that a .NET application, I will require some build environment. So all those things will be written over in that Docker file, and one by one, uh, those will run and will create the a host environment.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
And if I the same thing, if I have to host it on some other environment, maybe on Linux machine. So for that, I will take that, maybe I will create new Docker file, or I will create the already existing Docker file and will make changes accordingly for in order to host it on the Linux machine. And that is how it is. This is what I understood, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let us create one more Docker file. I'm creating a directory called sample Docker file. Okay, so let's suppose I want to deploy some var file. Okay, from is a common. Okay, we use a base image. Author name is optional. Okay, now you want to update the package manager. Run apt-get update. Right, again run. If you want, you may install it or else just leave this. And then I want to get a var file. Like if you have your address book var file, you may copy it. And also, by the way, if I take Ubuntu, I should install Tomcat, isn't it? Rather, I would take Tomcat here directly. Right? Now you may copy your var file. But where is the web apps directory in the Tomcat, isn't it? If you want to know information about any image, go to the Docker file of that image, Tomcat. Go to the Tomcat. And here are the links to the Docker files. Yeah, see, they have taken some base image. Catalina home is like a Java home environment variable, which will give you the path of Tomcat. See, this is where Tomcat is present, right? I got the path. Now, what I should do? I should go here. I have something called copy instruction. which will copy, okay, let's say var file is in the same directory, copy into USR local Tomcat web apps, right? Okay, and then what else? Okay, this is a Tomcat is there where we know where Tomcat is, and this is all about installing it. And what is this expose? See, this expose is for documentation purpose so that users, it's not that everyone knows Tomcat, isn't it? Everyone need not know Tomcat. There should be so many services. We may not know everything. But they were giving you information. Okay, Tomcat is running on port 8080. If you want, you can use pflag to port forward. Okay, that's the importance of this. This is documentation for the user. And CMD is doing catalina.sh script. Means catalina.sh if you run, Tomcat will be started. Right? That is the whole thing. So I was taking this Tomcat directly instead of me creating that, installing all of that. So I'll put it in a web apps. Then I would also let users know it's running on 8080. Then I would also like to start Tomcat by running catalina.sh. That's how Tomcat should be started with the run. Right? Clear with this? And where is your var file? You may put var file in the same folder, or else what I would do is, we shall get some sample var file for our test purpose. Sample var file download. Here is the URL. Now, if you want to copy something, download something from var file, I mean something from a URL, you have another instruction called add that URL. So sample var file will be downloaded and it will be placed in the web apps directory of Tomcat.
Okay. Where is the package? Java package.
Why do you need Java package?
No, no. Dot where is? I'm just confirming for my
Okay.
knowledge.
Yeah. Like address book dot var, that's a web archive file, deployable file.
Yes, yes.
We have deployed this in our Linux classes also, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Is this Docker file clear for everyone? Go through it and let me know.
App update. Okay, package manager, app update, expose. So this expose 8080 will give me the information about this Docker file, what is there inside, correct?
On which port your application is running?
Okay.
You are creating Docker file, you will share it across the team. So how do you tell them where is your application running? They have to do binding port forwarding, means they should know the container port, right?
In other words, Tomcat is will work on this 8080 port, and Catalina.sh will run.
Tomcat's default port is 8080. If you don't know, or else you have to let users know, right? Maybe you might have configured on some other port. So
Correct. So maybe that port is already been used, and if we have to give some other port, then that port we have to define over here in expose. Maybe 8082
see,
or
this
maybe
is
something.
container port. Okay, this is container port. Remember, this is container port. How
Okay.
come this port will be occupied by something else? This is container port. Okay, where your application is running, where Tomcat is running, and thereby your sample var will be running. And the reason is everyone need not know where Tomcat is running. We are doing it. Maybe it could be your address book, whatever it is. You let the port inside your container where your application is running. This is inside the container.
Okay. So container port is different thing, and this this Tomcat which is running this our which will run our this var package. maybe will run on some different packet, different port. Is it? So expose 8080 is the port of the container.
This is the Tomcat container or container that will be created. Tomcat is running on port 8080. Now, this is a container port. Now put your questions, please. Can you repeat?
First of all, I just want to know container will also have port, and this Tomcat, since Tomcat is a software which runs the Java packages, Java files, so that also required some package. So container will also have some port, and this Tomcat will also have some port. Is it?
I'm not following, Ritesh. What is Tomcat is separate and container is separate. Container is having some port, Tomcat is having some port.
Okay, ma'am. That's where I just
The
got confused.
container is like a VM, okay? You are on like a machine. On a machine,
Yes.
you are running some software. Software runs on some port.
Okay.
So Tomcat here, software or application is Tomcat. It runs on port 8080. So what is the different container port, Tomcat port? Container here is Tomcat container. Tomcat is running inside the container and it will be running on port 8080 of the container.
Okay.
Still anyone having any sort of confusions as such? Your application or the services will be running on some ports. Okay, these ports are the ports where your service or application is running. Like it's running in the container, so it would be running or exposed or accessible on the container port. Which port? Those services will have some default ports, Tomcat 8080, Nginx 80, and so on. Or else you may change the ports of your choice. This is the container port. You are telling users inside the container, my application is or Tomcat is running on 8080. Now I'm building this Docker build -d my image sample is the tag dot. I'm inside sample directory already. Now again the same, all the Docker instructions.
And do we have readily available that Catalina.sh, ma'am? Where is that file
Tomcat, we
script?
are using Tomcat as a base, right? Tomcat is having all of that, right?
Okay.
See,
So
the file system layers of Tomcat plus your file system layers. Tomcat already has those file system layers, those Docker instructions.
okay. Yeah.
Docker images, Docker history, my image sample. This is developed above Tomcat. See, did we write all of this? Where are these coming from? Tomcat layers, Tomcat Docker file already there. Okay, see all of this. Catalina home, configured, everything. That's the reason I'm using Tomcat. If I have to install Catalina, I have to set why should I go with the Tomcat as base image. I can go with Ubuntu as base image, right? And write my own steps to install Tomcat and all. Yeah, here are all the layers from Tomcat. Above that, that makes my task simple. Correct? Following everyone. Yeah. Otherwise, if I take
Yes.
Ubuntu, I should do all of this. A lot of pain. Yeah. I will not do already. It is their official image. I'll just write these 2 steps. So where is Tomcat? How come Tomcat is there? Okay. How come Java is there? You know answers for them. Now Docker run -itd my image colon sample. Okay, but when you are running this, it inside the container it's 8080. Don't want to do access it from your host, from your EC2. See this big square is EC2.
-p we should use.
Or else let me put this yellow square is EC2, Docker host. Now I want to exit from Docker host. How should I do that?
Port forwarding.
What should I add?
-p.
-p. If I do this, it will forward to random port. I don't want it. Small p.
Small p.
I want to forward to 9090 is the host port. This port you should see whether it is available, whether it is free or something else is running. You have to see this. And because on this EC2 instance, so many other things are running. I'm running so many things, right? So which is a container port and which is a host port here?
Host port is 9090.
First one is host port, second one is container port. How do you know 8080? Because the person wrote in the Docker file expose. So I understood, okay, it's running on 8080. That is the reason for writing expose. If that is not written, you go and talk to the person who developed this Docker file and get the information. Because it is Tomcat here, you may be knowing. It's not that always Tomcat. Correct? Okay, 9090. Now you should hit your instance on which port?
9090. You should add security, right? In inbound.
Maybe I might have added. If not, I will.
Oh.
And when it is sample var file, the endpoint should be sample. It is there. Yesterday we added few things. Might be I might have it already. Okay. This is your application finally deployed. So my sample var file application is ready. Similarly, I can get my address book ready. See, Docker file. This is my Docker file. Can you also do this for your address book app? Addressbook.var.
Ma'am, you added sample. What is that endpoint you said?
Endpoint should be the name of your var file sample.
Okay.
Sample I have added.
When we run the package on the address book, we didn't got any var file, right?
We did not get any var file.
No, not var file, jar. Sorry, we didn't.
We got var file, right? Addressbook.var file package.
We got var file. Sorry, I got that.
So what I'm asking is, can you deploy that var file here? Like we deployed sample var. Can you deploy addressbook.var and see the endpoint on the browser? Try out this as a homework or assignment for you today. Okay, deploy your address book var file. I'm giving you everything. Instead of add, you should use copy. Add will also work. Copy will copy from host to container. This is host location or from where you have to download. This is container location. Only this part you should change. Copy addressbook.var. Can you try doing it and exit from the browser and see your application?
Yes.
Yeah, this is called containerizing or dockerizing your application. Try to do this. Okay, definitely try to do it. You might be busy, you might be traveling, you might be having a hell of a lot of work. Please spend some time, okay, and complete this hands-on. Go through the recordings again, do the hands-on on tagging. All of that should be on your fingertips. Docker is very important, okay? We will step into Kubernetes where Docker is the base. Do the hands-on, okay, and let me know. I think it was holiday for a majority of the companies tomorrow and maybe today as well. For certain schools for kids, it was a holiday, I believe. And majority of you might be working from home or having some privileges because of elections tomorrow. So utilize this time for our hands-on. Yeah. Can you try doing it?
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Can I share my screen?
Okay, before that, 1 second. Any more questions clear on this part? This part I'm asking. Anyone speaking?
Fine.
Someone is speaking, but very low voice. Couldn't hear you.
Sorry, is it audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow class is there, right?
We have class.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, then any questions, let me know. And Raghav, yes, the question regarding, this is regarding?
Yeah, I'm able to, I'm trying to delete that stopped containers and then images, but whatever I pushed in the repository, that I'm not able to delete. It is saying that your
Pushed
repository
into
has some
which
reference.
repository?
Sorry, ma'am?
Pushed into?
My repository, Docker Hub repository in my repo,
Hmm.
that is done, but I'm not able to
That is
delete in my.
because you will see the references, because you will see that error because some containers might be running with that image.
No, it's not there, ma'am. All I deleted. I used a system prune, that command also I have used. So there is no container running. And then images also I deleted, almost 7 images I created, but only the 2 images which I uploaded in Docker Hub, that I'm not able to delete.
I have
Can I
made you a host. Can you share? Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
sure. Yeah, if you see, can you see my screen, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, here Docker images is there. These are the 2. I tried Docker RM with this. I'm trying to delete this, but it's not going.
Can you run Docker PS? Okay. Try to remove it again. See, you are using ID. You should use the image name.
I use that as well.
Try with the name.
I tried that as well.
See, no such image. Where is the tag? If you are not putting tag, means it is searching for latest tag that is not there.
Tag is here.
Docker RMI, you should put the tag, right? Run the
You
previous
mean
command again, :vim. Gone.
yeah?
It was deleted.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I missed that tag, is it? Okay.
You are
Because
using
this
ID. You should use the image name, not the ID.
image name, not the ID. Okay.
Container ID or name are fine, but not image ID. We never used image ID, right?
Yeah.
In the class I was talking about name and container name ID, but not image ID.
Okay. Yeah. Now I got it.
Okay, there is a
Thank you.
question from Prathamesh. There is a fixed template for Docker file. Fixed template in the sense those instructions are fixed, Prathamesh. Depending on your requirement, we have to use them. Docker file, particularly to Dockerize your application, certain companies or certain project developers will be doing it generally. In some cases, we may have to do it. Those Docker instructions are fixed. You have to know those lists and use it accordingly.
I have one question. Yesterday, I have created the repository in my hub.docker, and that it is stating no taxer has been added. So I have tried to push one Python from the Docker Hub. So I have pushed it to my images, and then I have tried to tag, but I am unable to tag. It is asking a source tag and destination tag. So only I have name and repository, my directory
Can you
name and
share your
repository,
screen?
but I am
Can you
unable
share
to
your
tag my. No, I can't share my screen. It is in another laptop. I have joined in.
Get your screen share or the screenshots, okay, so that I can help you.
Okay. I will share the screenshots.
All right then. Thanks everyone. See you all tomorrow. Bye everyone.